Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is how to create extra services available on the Book a Lesson page. At the moment, the Book a Lesson page, for someone not logged in, let me just visit the site here. Now I've been mucking about a bit, so there's a couple of changes that I've had to put in place in order to set this demonstration up. So at the moment, the available pardon me, wrong one. The available service is this here, Aviation English Lesson, 30 minutes. Okay, and if you were to go through the process of actually booking this lesson as a subscriber, it would actually be me being the teacher rather than Mike Leonard. Anyway, to explain all of that, I've got 3 browser windows open. This one, as you can see, is not logged in at all. No one logged in. That's the public view. And then I'm also logged in as Mike Leonard in Internet Explorer here. And as you can see from clicking on HitAppoint there, this is the page that comes up. Mike, you have nothing to manage, and I'll explain that in a moment. But my page, when I hit HitAppoint, is I've got this calendar, and I've got schedules here which you don't have. So how to set all of that up is the purpose of this video now. Okay, so Mike Leonard, this is you. Not much happening here. Let's have a look at me and what I've done to set this up. Basically, in order to create things that a subscriber or a student can select and book, you need to do a few things. The first thing you need to do is have an administrative user that can manage a schedule. Now let's have a look at the administrative users that are set up on this site. There's only 2 at this stage, and these are the people who can manage things. So there's myself and you, Mike. If we look at me, I have just waiting for this to load. Right, so these are my details. This time zone is really important for the calendar to work correctly across time zones. Bookable resources, system access level. The system access level for you and I are the same. Let's have a look at bookable resources here. Again, just waiting for that. Okay, so I have a bookable resource which I have called Mike S. And I can manage those appointments and the schedules. Right, so I've got maximum capacity there. So that's an administrative user, and if we were setting up a new teacher, they'd have to be one of these administrative users in order for them to be able to manage their own bookings. But we might give them view-only access, for example, or view-only, not update to their schedule. Okay, so that's the bookable resources next to me, and that's what creates this schedules thing coming up in the menus. So if we go to yours logged in, right, there's no scheduler there, and that is because administrative users here, I'm logged in as you, waiting for that to come up. Okay, let's have a look at what you've got. Waiting for that to refresh. Internet Explorer is a bit slower than Firefox. Okay, so this is administrative users, Mike Leonard. Now what we're going to do is have a look at the bookable resources here and see what has been defined. Okay, So there's no bookable resources there, and that's why the schedule menu item isn't up. So what we'll do is we'll just add one. But before I did that, before we do that, I need to have actually created a bookable resource, which I've done. Let me show you that over here. Bookable resources. Okay. Right. So as I mentioned to you on the phone, the bookable resources are not meant to be the lessons. They're the teachers, effectively, and possibly the rooms. But in this case, we're going to use them as the teachers. So here I am, Mike S, Vocational English Specialist. There you are, Mike L, English Teacher. And as you can see there, no schedules, no administrative users to manage appointments, no administrative users to manage schedules. That's going to change in a moment. But in order to make those changes, I needed to log in as you, which I've done in the other browser. What we need to do is get rid of all these others, and I'll do that in a moment. They need to be reflected in services. So I'm looking at that now, the services. Okay, so there are 3 services: English lesson, aviation English lesson, and trial English lesson. As you can see, that English lesson has no schedules configured, and same for trial English lesson. But the aviation English lesson does have schedules, and that's actually one of my schedules. So that's why they are displayed differently here. Okay, now going back to your login, let's add a bookable resource here for you, Mike Leonard, and that will be Mike L, English Teacher, that one there. And I'm going to give you manage and view and update access, and we'll update that. See what happens. Just waiting for that to refresh. Now you can see the schedules button pops up, and that's what we're going to use in a moment. All right, so let's do that. Before we make a schedule, well, let's have a look at it, and you can see what we need to have done before we can actually make a schedule. So again, just waiting for that to refresh. Okay, so there's no schedules there at the moment. On mine, I have one schedule. Show you that. Okay, and if I edit that, that's Mike Smith Vocational English. So if I edit that, you'll see, okay, so we need to add some times, and also we need to configure the settings, and the settings includes capacity and services and location. Services and location. So I've just added one of the 3 services to what I'm offering on your site, and I've added one location, which is my Skype address. So these locations and the services need to be sorted beforehand. Now we know we've got 3 services, but what locations have I defined? So let's have a look at those. Now I've added my own Skype address, and that's my online classroom. I've also added yours, Mike, as an online classroom as well. So the locations, the 3 services have been set up, and now we are ready to add these to one of your schedules. So here I am logged in as you. Okay, so we're going to create a schedule for you with all of those 3 services being available. Okay, and we'll call that, what did I call mine? Let's see, schedule. Mike Smith Vocational English. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll call yours Mike L English lessons. Capacity 1 seat. By default, all of these three are services are available, and I have to add a location. If I don't add a location, then it will throw up an error message. So the location will be your Skype address, because it's going to be an online lesson. And this capacity is important here because the booking system takes into account how many students can have a concurrent lesson at the same time. So we'll just leave that at 1 here for one-to-one lessons. Now it's picked up 12-month validity period, and we'll get a chance to set up availabilities on a day-by-day basis in a moment. So I'm going to press create here now for this new schedule for Mike Leonard. Just waiting for that to update. Okay, now we need to add some time slots, and what I'm going to do, these can be modified, but just for an example, I'm going to make it 8 till 4, say Wednesday, no, each day. Okay, so just going to make it, rather than that, I'm going to make it 10 till 4. 10 till 4 p.m. every 15 minutes. There'll be 30-minute lessons. I'm not 100% sure what the difference between periodic and fixed is, but let's just leave it on the default there. Create this, and that's for Monday. Right, and I'm just going to copy that to all days. All days. I can copy it to individual days here, but I'm just going to copy that to all days for now. So you can set up time slots with a lot of flexibility. I can add multiple time slots, a break for lunch, whatever's required. And that is referred to as a schedule. And a schedule ties together a bookable resource, as in you, Mike Leonard, the English teacher, a location, and some time availability, as well as the services. Okay, so that's all done. Might want to take away the Saturday and Sunday, but that's fine. If I want to change one of these, I can't. I've got to actually delete it, then add a new one, as far as I know. Okay, now that should be sorted. So now if I go to the public view of the page and refresh this, there should be a whole bunch more availabilities. Let's try that. Right, and there they are. So now this one is duplicated, the Aviation English lesson, because both you and I are offering that. But this one is only available for you. English lesson is only in your schedule, and trial English lesson is also only in your schedule. So that's how these services come up. Okay, so in the next segment we'll have a look at how this works from a customer point of view. Right. Let's see. You can't see that very well, but let's see. Okay, I'm just going to make that window a bit smaller so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so yeah, there you go. 3 of them. English lesson, Aviation English lesson, and Trial English lesson. So in a moment we'll run through the process that a student would go through.